What's up, music lovers? Thanks for clicking on my channel. So Ghost's new album, Skeleta, has been out for about a week now, so I figured why not talk about it. So the first thing I noticed about this album is that it takes the crisp, clean arena rock songwriting and production from Impera and just goes even further with it. For all the metal elitists who have always been hating on Ghost and calling them industry plants or posers or whatever, this will be an album that they can really hate. The first single on the album, Peacefield, is probably the most pop Ghost has ever been. But for those of us who have never hated Ghost and also aren't diehard fans, I think that this album is kind of a mixed bag. It has some moments of brilliance and also some moments of kind of frustration. The majority of this album is the softest and most pop-oriented, synth-oriented sound that Ghost has ever had, but there are always moments in each song where there's a heavy riff or something that comes out of nowhere where you're like, oh, that is kind of harkening back to their earlier days and their more heavy and metal influences. A good example of that is Satanized. You know what song I'm talking about. There's a really killer guitar solo in it, and there's also this moment where Tobias Forge is just singing in Latin that comes out of nowhere, which kind of catches you off guard, and the fact that the majority of the song is so catchy and kind of on the lighter side makes those moments really stand out more. And it seems like the main musical influences that Ghost are drawing on for this album is a lot of stuff in the early to mid 80s. Synth rock, new wave, hair metal bands like Dokken or Bon Jovi, but being a bit more progressive than they are. You can hear Styx at times, and for the intro to Guiding Lights, I actually kind of heard 1970s Peter Gabriel era Genesis, but that could just be my ear. And talking about all those influences, you can definitely tell that the guitar player for this album doing the solos is from a progressive metal background. And while it's a strength, I also do think it's a bit of a weakness that this album has so many different musical influences on it, because at times it feels as though within the same song there's these different styles trying to fight to get your attention. You might have a song that starts off sounding like it's going to be really heavy, but then it develops and it goes in a different direction that kind of left me feeling a bit frustrated more than once. And it could also be the production as well, because as I said before, they're kind of taking the sound on Impera and going even further with it. And the guitars don't really have that screeching quality that I love to hear from guitars. They sound a bit muted. And there are times too where the drums are just going absolutely ham, but they're kind of like compressed in a way, or they're sitting in the mix a little bit so that the song doesn't feel as heavy as it probably will live. That's not to say that I hate this album or even dislike it, but for the first half I was kind of waiting for a song to really grab me, and I was kind of feeling a little bit left down. But when you get into the second half of the album, I think that's when it goes into hyperdrive and you're like, oh, these are some absolute banger songs right here. Marks of the Evil One is one of the best songs on the album. It has a great chorus, great riffs, and it feels much more consistent than some of the other songs do. It also has a great guitar and keyboard solo section, but if we're going to be talking about amazing keyboard and guitar interludes, then we got to talk about the song Umbra. Umbra is absolutely my favorite song on this album, and it makes me wish that the entire album was like this. I hope that their next album follows this direction a bit more. Umbra is like Ghost doing their version of Speed King by Deep Purple, and I mean, come on. It's as awesome as it sounds. And while my initial thoughts on this album are that it's not bad, but it's probably my least favorite Ghost album, you know, that might change because there are a lot of layers to the album. I feel like the more I go back to it, the more I might find enjoyment in it. I mean, I remember being pretty indifferent to Grace Under Pressure, Power Windows, and Hold Your Fire, and now Grace Under Pressure and Hold Your Fire, two of my favorite Rush albums, so will that be the case for Skeleta? Only time will tell. Anyway, so those are my thoughts on Skeleta by Ghost, but enough about what I think. What did you think of this album, and what's your favorite Ghost album? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, there's probably something else popping up right here that you might also like. And if you want to hear an instrumental song of mine called Waking Giant, there's a link down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you at the next video.